Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 7 Premium German Battleship, Scharnhorst. She has 56,300 health, a top speed of 30 knots, 9 283mm guns, 6 torpedoes, a surface detect of 15.2 kilometers, and 65 AA defense rating. For my modules, improved auxiliary armament health, improved secondary gun range, reduced the chance of flood and fire, faster rudder shift. For my commander, preventative maintenance, adrenaline rush, basic firing training, and advanced firing training. We're on the map Fault Line, and this is ranked battle, baby. Again, in a battleship now. Well, how does it match up? It was early on in the day. There were a lot of battleships in the queue. Maybe they felt like they were countering, but there are a good amount of cruisers in this queue. A fair amount. And Fault Line is an interesting map because, quite honestly, it feels like there's only one legit point to take from the southern spawn and from the northern spawn. The northern spawn will take B, and the southern spawn will always take A. The reason is there's just a lot of congestion on the northern side of A and the southern side of B. Sometimes you see something a little bit differently, but in general, it's much easier for the destroyers to go in and go out from a southern spawn to A and a northern spawn to B. And whenever I recognize that, I felt like, I need to try and counter whatever the enemy's trying to do. Maybe they're going to hide behind the island. I'm just trying to counter whatever they try and do. Now, we have a Texan in the shores showing a broadside, and of course, prediction, elevation, looks pretty good. It feels pretty good. Pretty easy. The shores has a very difficult time in ranked play. It's not as easy as you would like. And I really like positioning myself on the flank if possible. Force the enemy to decide between angling against me or my allies. Am I overextended over here? Absolutely. But there is only one destroyer per side, and there's a good bet that that smoke cloud holds the enemy destroyer. We'll have to see, right? So the Colorado, he sort of ran against the island. Well, someone has line of sight on me. Well, either the enemy has left the smoke cloud on the left side, or there's someone ahead of their team on this right side. Now, no longer am I detected, so I think that the enemy destroyer is somewhere just north of B. Obviously, the aircraft is still detecting me, but there's no ship within line of sight. That's very important to understand. That little bit of real estate on your screen is telling you so much information, so much critical information that you need to understand how to interpret it. So, it's obvious the enemy team is pushing forward. I am way overextended over here. I need to be very careful, and there is the Boyskovica, about where I thought it would be, somewhere in the northern hemisphere of B point. We get a little bit of ship damage, not honestly any significant damage, and I'm going to get the hell out of here, because as soon as the Atlanta, the Gneisenau, the Nagato, the Colorado, all these ships round that corner, I'm going to be taking damage, and in fact, the Atlanta can fire over the island already. Enemy Miyoko, and I was like, Miyoko, you're gonna run into the island, so we're gonna fire at the waterline and move and shoot. Now, some people might be critical of my commander. It's not skilled up. Why is it? Because quite frankly, I believe that the strategy is more important than having a 19 skill commander, an absolutely perfect setup. For me, I am working on my Scharnhorst, my Gneisenau, and also my Tempest commander all in one. Why all those combined together? Neither one of those ships has the ability to use hydroacoustic, so I'm going to sub in Vigilance for Superintendent. Whereas on all my hydroacoustic ships, I would rather get Superintendent in order to enhance that. I have a pretty good feel of where the enemy could possibly be, and oh god, that dispersion was terrible. So I would rather be a little bit cautious over here. I don't want 3, 4, 5 enemy ships on this flank. I'm gonna pull back, come back around the island, and re-engage on my own terms without them pushing forward into a 1 versus a 3-4 scenario. My teammates are over by A point, and they're very out there. I'm very concerned that they don't have enough protection if left on their own. The island is good, but if you allow the enemy to flank your team, well, what's the deal, right? Who cares? You gotta maintain the number advantage, or at least stay fairly close to the enemy to have a chance to win these ranked battles. So I'm gonna come back, support the team, and be called a coward because of my location. It would be within your best interest, if you ever are just confused what a player is doing, really consider what they're doing. I have made plenty of mistakes myself, but I've never called someone out in chat. I usually make a comment to myself, or obviously to you guys, and it ends up being right or wrong, but I'm not putting myself out there to be critical of someone because I just don't know what are they doing. Enemy Gneisenn, I think he backed up into the island, and now he's going to be broadside. So I think, yeah, pretty good shots on him. He's burning the bow at least, and I'm not going to get any more salvos off on him. Some of the enemies have tried to push into my flank, but I left that flank, and the island is blocking their ability to engage me. In fact, they don't have a lot of targets they can fire at. The Atlanta is behind the island. I'm behind this island. I believe the friendly battleship that's just north of B is behind the island in relation to the Nagato. The islands really do change the game if you can manipulate them to your advantage, and it's just critically important that you do that. Enemy Atlanta looks to actually be trying to run into the island. This Atlanta player is very aware that he has the advantage when close to an island, and he has tried to manipulate it every single time to be just that. And I recognize that. You have to try and force him to be uncomfortable. Now, the Gneisenn is going to do it brutally. He's going to be in position to send his torpedoes. I'm going to try and assist in the destruction of the Atlanta if possible. And the Gneisenn needs to be careful because the Atlanta also has torpedoes. So any second now, the Atlanta is going to send torpedoes. It's going to be a big deal. He's got to be very careful. And in the Atlanta, he's going to hide. And this is a very weird position I'm in right now. I'm in the middle of the map. But I can't engage anyone. They're all behind islands. They've given up the middle of the map. My team is pretty concentrated, where the enemy team is pretty spread out. And I'm going to try and pick them off one at a time with the understanding that the islands are going to be in the way. Enemy Miyoko showing a perfect broadside. Remember the Japanese, they use their butts to send torpedoes, so absolutely guarantee he's going to try and send his torpedoes. I'm going to use my torpedoes, but I want to use it at a point where I can guarantee the hit on the target. And I'm just trying to gauge what he's doing. I'm also going to use my guns because they traverse really quickly at the waterline. And 12,000 is pretty good. I would say that's exactly what you want, and it looks like he's dropping his speed. So I'm going to try to get in position and I probably should have sent the torpedoes at this point. At this point, I'm just going to kill him. He's so low that the torpedoes are just going to be excess. Yeah. A mistake. This was a mistake. Needed to use the torpedoes. Since I know the torpedoes are going to kill him, I'm going to fire on the Atlanta. He kills one of my guns, though, and that hurts the rate of fire in the front. And the chat was joking. It's basically a Graf Spee at this point. Yes, it is. The Boyskovica trying to go around the island. We really botched this particular scenario up. I should have sent the torpedoes probably 10 seconds sooner. And then I could have just 100% engaged the Atlanta. The Miyoko is still on my tail trying to use his torpedoes. We all know, oh, it'll counter it. And no, it won't. You're predictably moving in an area that I can deal with. And you're showing a perfect broadside. So if I can just get a good, clean citadel, you're going down. Remember, the Boyskovica is still around here. And oh, just too far forward. And immediately I'm going. Nothing else matters. Take the destroyer out. We get a good, clean salvo on that. My secondaries are going off on both of the targets because I don't have my manual secondary yet. I do want it Friendly Atlanta does exactly what he's supposed to. He finishes off the Boyskevitsa, and just like that, we will 100% win this game. And it was really down to the positioning, manipulating the targets, if they ran into an island, if they were broadside. It's all so critically important to the game. I misplayed the Nagato. Not with my guns, but I should have used the torpedoes. I had the torpedoes, and I just was a little too selfish. I was just trying too hard to maximize the potential of the torpedoes without doing anything wrong. And I lost a gun, I lost a lot of damage that I could have given to some other target, but it worked out in the end, right? It's always important, though, that you reevaluate how you played the match. I felt like it was a good idea to head over and try and slow down B point and get on their flank. I could have easily gone A point with my team, and of course, the shores. The Soviet cruisers, they just die so quickly. They die so quickly at Tier 7. Because their concealment's probably the worst compared to everything now. Now that the Pensacola was buffed, they're just really easy to see. You have to be very aware of islands if you're going to take out your Soviet cruiser. But I could have gone to A point. I could have tried and fired at the enemy. The enemy would have established a good front with good angling. But by getting on the flank, it forced the enemies to either take damage from me or take damage from my allies. And I can take it. I can take the enemy trying to assault me, and we're about to scrape this island just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's a little, what can I say? I run into islands all the time. I run into them all the time. It's just, I'm just so focused on where I'm going to go next. I don't really consider exactly where the island exists on the map. It's almost like it's going to just move out of the way of my ship. I know that sounds stupid at times, but that's the mentality that I have, and I'm firing HE because he's angled. We want to set fires. I'm just trying to get some damage. Maybe I can kill him before the game's out, but it doesn't look like it. We are about 9. Yeah, the game's over. So, the Scharnhorst. Ranked play. Not bad. Could be even better. I enjoy this ship. It's got good credit income. As you can tell, we got First Blood, Dreadnought, High Caliber, 1,953 base XP, 2 kills. It was a solid game. Pretty much exactly what a Scharnhorst should do. Torpedoes, AP, secondaries, it's going to be even better. I hope it was fun to see the Scharnhorst. It's very viable in ranked play, I think. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.